Hi, I'm Cody Alexander of MatchQuarters.com, bringing you another MQ chess match. In today's episode, we are going to take a look at the Green Bay offense versus the San Francisco 49ers defense. Now, most people understand that San Francisco had a tremendous year on defense that led them to a Super Bowl appearance, and really with that ball control offense that they had, it kind of set them up in the traditional sense of what you're looking for on a team that's going to make the playoffs and make a deep run primarily in January and playing obviously in February. Now, for the Green Bay Packers, a lot has been said about Aaron Rodgers and his quarterback play in the past couple years, but their offense has done relatively well and has stayed in the top 10 of offensive DVOA in 2019. Now, in this particular game, the 49ers pretty much dominated the run game, and the 49ers really just killed Green Bay Packers anytime they tried to run, and really forced Aaron Rodgers into some situations where he had to pass. His QBR rating in this game was a 21.9. Didn't have a great game. If you look at it just purely on stats, he was 31 for 39 with 330 plus yards, but he had two touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and those interceptions, the last one came kind of at the very end of the game to kind of seal the game. So the 49ers ended up winning 37-20. And what they did, and really what I'm going to highlight, is they had 3 sacks and they had 2 interceptions. And we're gonna look at all 5 of those big plays, because anytime that you can get a sack that's a tackle for loss while you're dominating that run game, it just puts the offense kind of on their heels. And then obviously the interceptions, the 2 interceptions that really kind of, 1 sealed the game, and then 2 was a really good play in the first half of the game to kind of give the 49ers a little bit more of a lead. Now, a couple of things that you're going to see here, and what I want to illustrate on this first play is, one, that you're going to see a lot of what I call a fly front. Now, on a fly front, you're going to have 2 threes and 2 wide 5s. Now, if you paid any attention to the 49ers, you know that they kind of play this wide 5 defense anyway. They've got a 4 down front, and they're going to make these D-ends, and they're going to get them really wide, even on base downs, even on first down versus a 21 personnel with 2 backs in the backfield and a tight end. They're going to get those guys wide, and they're going to try and crash everything down, funnel everything inside. The other thing that you're going to see a lot of is weak rotation, what I call 6 rotation. So you're going to see this guy right here in particular, he's going to work down. Now, some people call this 6 buzz, some people call this 6 cross. I'm going to call this 6 cross just because he doesn't buzz it. He's not working really down deep. He's actually going to take 3 back, and he's going to do it from the table. So if you see here, he's actually going to push to the flat. He's going to work down in the high hole. He's the low hole, and he's going to work this way. He's going to cut 1. So he's actually going to be the cut to 1, cut to 2, he's the 3 player. He's either going to cut the cross, or he's cut the under or cut the cross, and then obviously he's the final 4th, and then you have your 3 guys on top. So that's why we're looking at a cover 3 team. Now, another thing about Saleh as a DC, he is from the Carroll tree, so cover 3 is part of what they do, and it's a majority of what they're running. So in our first clip, that's what we're going to look at. I call this really fly 6 cross. You've got the fly front. They're going to play 6 cross, where he's going to settle down, eyes to the quarterback, looking for anything crossing. He's going to cut the flat. He's got the flat. He's got the low hole. He's got the middle of the field. And then obviously the corners are going to have the deep third. So that's why I'm calling it this. So you can see right here, in this, the safety's going to take a step down, and he's looking to cut the cross, which he ends up doing right here. Yes, you have a cross coming all the way over here, but that's not where his focus is. He's looking at the quarterback. Notice how Rodgers, he's looking over here. You've got the corner sitting on top of this with an in-breaking route. You know that he's now going to sit on that. He's holding that guy as long as he possibly can. And then you're getting the vertical. He's going to hold that trip side, especially with him underneath over there. I'm pretty sure that's their tight end, so he's not really worried about a vertical threat. If this were a vertical threat, he knows that this guy, that Sherman over here, is going to have him. So this is a good play by the defense and really illustrates it. And the sack is a covered sack, because at this point everybody's taken this curl right here. This guy's playing basketball on that. He can cut, and he can cut on this underneath route right here. As he's coming back outside, you've got an underneath and an over the top, and then obviously you've got man coverage. So there's nowhere for him to go on this. And now what you're going to see is really how the fly front works. You've got one-on-one matchups, and the guy that's away from the center can kind of do whatever he wants. Here he ends up skirting underneath of this guard, ends up attacking. He ends up missing in here, but he cuts him off, and then now the contained player has the leverage, and he's going to end up getting that sack right there. So that's the first sack of the game, coming off of a fly front and 6 cross. So let's look at it again from the very beginning. Fly front is going to take the line. You've got your 6 cross coverage. He leaks out, but by that time it's too late, and you've got the sack. So again, first sack of the game, kind of a look into the future for what it's going to be like for that 49ers offense. Second clip, we're going to look at a hot pressure that the 49ers brought against the Green Bay Packers here on a 3rd and 7. What I really like about this is, one, they got the mug front. They're using a hot pressure to get the ball down. This is good, too, when you know a team is going to try and hit the intermediates, and you kind of have an idea. Like, for instance, these guys they're not launching the ball down. Now, does that mean that Aaron Rodgers can't launch the ball down? No. And I'll explain to you why this is a good pressure versus this formation when we look at the wide part. But you know you're not going to get verticals. And the reason why you're not going to get verticals, you have a nub tied in, and then you have a bunch set over here. But what this is a mug front. So you've got 3 D linemen. You got 1, 2, 3 D linemen. You've mugged the backers, meaning that they're going to stand on top of the guards. And so what you end up getting right here really is the bear front. You've got wide out here, kind of your 5 or 9s. You've got your 3 techniques here, and then you've got a shade. He's going to penetrate over here. Now you've got a guy in the middle this guy is going to be in charge of the running back. Right, the illusion of him in charge of the running back. They're going to keep him in the middle because they're going to try and make it look like zone, so you don't know who's coming and who's coming or not. He gives a hard count so that he can kind of see what the pressure looks like. Okay, you can see the nickel come down over here. You can see him start working over here. I call this blitz in particular back because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to attack the back right here. Okay, so he knows it's coming. Now, in a perfect world, how this would work is that he would work into here and bring that guard. As he deep sets for this guy right here, you're going to now have 2 guys on the back. So you're going to have an inside shoulder and an outside shoulder on the back. This is why, again, I call it back. He's going to vacate, and he's going to be the hot to 3 player. And then you've got a wide guy over here, which is going to make him come here. And then he's going to try and occupy these 2 guys right here, what I call a pin technique. You're going to try and pin these guys right here. So as he works here, he's going to have to pin, meaning that center has to block him because you have man blocking. So the tackle's going to be here. He's got to take him. He's got to take him. So you know you're going to get man blocking off of this presentation. So let's watch the blitz. Now, because you get the hard count early, the tackle knows, okay, I got to fan out, because I've got 2 edge guys. So he knows that he's going to get here, and then he's going to fan out here. That changes it a little bit because that's going to put the running back here. The 2 guys outside are going to be handled by these 2. So he's going to get in here. So you're still going to get 2 on the back. The center actually comes off and ends up taking the guy. So you can see here, he ends up seeing him, and he ends up taking him off. You end up okay for the 49ers. They're actually, the Packers, they're actually okay blocking-wise. They've got enough guys. They've got 7 people for 6. The issue really becomes now is that guard, because he sees that guy, and he has to make sure that he crosses face. He's seeing him come in right now. So that hesitation and again, you're putting a guy that's super quick against a guy that's not super quick. Now, don't get me wrong. These guys, it doesn't matter what team you're on. These guys that are playing day in and day out on Sunday on the offensive line are all very much physical freaks. But you're putting a quicker guy who can easily dip underneath, especially after this hesitation, because he's got to stab that guy. So you end up getting the blitz picked up, but this guy, the edge rusher, ends up hitting home. Rodgers doesn't see him, and you end up getting kind of the sack fumble. And the 49ers are able to get the Packers are actually able to get on this, so they live to see another day. But it's 3rd and 7. Now it's 4th down. Now they got a punt. So let's watch the pressure again from the beginning. Picked up relatively well by the Packers, except for that nickel's just too much. The speed's too much to handle for that guard. Now, let's go to the very beginning of the play so you can see what the coverage looks like. So what we're going to have, we have a bunch set, right? And so we're going to have what we hot coverage. Now, in most hot coverages, you're not worried about the back. You're either going to have a peel player or you're just going to have you're just going to rally to it. Like, it doesn't matter if he comes out, it doesn't matter. Okay, so in here, you know you're going to lose a nickel. So what you're going to have is the hot to 2 and then the hot to 3. He's in charge of 1. He's in charge of the middle of the field. And because it's a nub set and the back is away, he's going to take care of the tight end. So as we get here, we get the hard count. Okay, now you can see right here, what you're going to get out of this is a sit and then a curl right here and then the wheel off of it. So he's got the wheel. He sits on 2. He sits on 3. He's the cap in the middle of the field. And then he's got his eyes on the tight end because he's a single receiver. And I always tell my guys when I'm coaching them on a hot blitz, if you're on the single receiver side, you just got to pretend like it's man. It's essentially man for you, and that's exactly how the 49ers are playing it. So coverage-wise, there really is nowhere for them to go. You can see that these guys are kind of feeling the receiver. He's seeing him come to the cross, and then he's going to get his eyes to the quarterback. Okay, I like him. He's looking at the quarterback. He's cutting that curl. If somebody were to jet outside, you would then have that safety on top. So, again, really nice, what I call mug back, hot. And this is a good look at it right here. Nice job with the sack. So, we're at 2 clips in. We've already got 2 sacks, and we're not even to halftime yet. So, that's the second clip. Again, mug back, hot. Let's run through it one more time. Nice job. Sit, nowhere for the ball to go. Sack, fumble. In this clip, we have our first interception of the game. Now, you're going to have what I call over, okay, because you've got the 3 technique to the tight end, okay. If you are more of a pass strength guy, this would be an under. Okay, you have your wide 5s, and then you have a shade or a G right here, depending on what you want to call it. It looks like he's more of a G or a 2-eye than he is a shade. Now, what you're going to get again is that 6 cross look that I talked about earlier, where the safety's going to work down. You can see him working deep, him working to the 3rd. He's going to end up being on top. He's going to work to the flat. He's going to work to 2. He's got 2 weak, and then he's sinking down, and he's going to take 3 back. So if we were to end up getting a vertical here, he would end up cutting that off, and he would end up taking that. So that's where we get either that, if you want to call 6 buzz. I call it cross just because he's sitting high. He's not really slamming down in there. So you can actually see him relate to the back. Once he sees eyes, then he comes off. This is a pick really because of the vision and the coverage. So Rodgers sees where the coverage is going, okay? And this is one of the issues that you get with cover 3 is that if I move this guy outside, I've got to relate to him, but then I also have to be able to overlap to the number 2 receiver. So you can see here you've got a wall on him, so he can't work to 2. He's already outside of the slot. So you have this area where he now has to work back inside. The receiver, you can see he's actually throwing the ball. The receiver has no idea that the ball's coming out, but the corner does, and the corner's able to bend back inside. So it's not really a great ball. You know, Rodgers should have thrown it a little bit more inside to get it in the vision here. He ends up throwing it low and outside, which allows this kind of guy to overlap and end up taking that. So, again, just a simple coverage, you know, nothing too spectacular. And that's the one thing that you'll notice about these 49ers. They really relied heavily on the front to make plays. Like, for instance, here you've got what I would call a knot stunt, where you've got the nose working outside. Okay, the end's going to up and under right here. And then on the other side, you just have your man-on-man pass rush. They're just trying to occupy those guys and create space. Center ends up coming up. So the offensive line actually picks up the twist stunt and picks up the four-man rush pretty well. But because of the coverage here, this ends up being one of those things where, bad ball placement gets him into trouble. He can't throw it here because he's got 3 back. Okay, he could have worked out, if you would have ended up curling it up here, he would have been in the window and he would have been on top. It's just a bad throw and a good pick by that corner to get that. So, kind of one of those, again, telling of the game. It looked on paper that Rodgers had a great game, but really in actuality, you look at the QBR, he wasn't playing very well. And the ball placement right here gets him into trouble. Again, nothing fancy. Just 6 cross, but because the way the coverage is structured and the way that it fits, Rodgers thought he could get it in here, and he ends up getting a pick. Here's the 3rd sack of the game, and it doesn't come from anything exotic. Again, you've got an over front versus an empty set. You're just going to play some quarters. Nothing in particular fancy about this. Okay, what they're doing here is they're stressing the mic on the tight end. He's in charge of number 3, so you can see that he's in charge of number 3. If you look up top, we're just playing quarters. If you look down on the bottom, we're just playing quarters. Nothing real fancy. Now, on the outside, you're going to get a smash call, right? So you get a sit down. That means he's coming out, and what you're ending up doing is you're going to get the double here. Now, the safety is looking at Rodgers. Rodgers is staring this down right now. He knows that this guy's going to work over top, so he can be aggressive down here, and he ends up taking a bite. So what that means for Rodgers is he can't throw the ball here. And then obviously over here we're playing basketball. What I call basketball is he's rolling underneath of the fin route. He's on top to cap that. And then obviously you've got man-to-man. He would have to turn all the way back around. So really, again, great coverage by the 49ers. And as we said at the beginning, the 49ers have a great pass rush. They're just using nothing more than really just a fly front. I think I said it was over to begin with, but this is really nothing more than a fly front. Again, you've got your 3 techniques. You've got your wide 5s, and you're creating man matchups. Now, again, what I like about this is it just creates naturals. If I get clamped right here, I just want to move to the middle of the pocket. Because when I do that, what I've created is now I've created a lane. He can't step up. And if he does, then this guy's got a 2-way go. He's the one that's kind of playing what I call ballet of the dancing bears. He's just looking at the quarterback. I'm pinning these guys, and then I'm going to move, and I'm going to be kind of an anchor in the middle. And hopefully one of these guys can get here. What you end up seeing is Bosa with what I call a fish hook. So he's going to work vertically and come underneath. When he does that, he can't step up because, again, he's anchored in the middle. He's kind of gotten the 2-way go. Once he sees him escape out here, now he can release and make that play. And that's exactly what you see right there with that bull rush from the 3 technique down here on the bottom. So really just a combination of 1, great coverage, and then 2, great pass rush to get this 3rd sack on the 2nd and 5. Get them, inside their 20, 3rd and long. I think this was in the 3rd or 4th quarter. So late in the game, they needed them. They can't take negative plays. 49ers win the down again. Really, again, on just nothing more than just a fly front and some quarters coverage. So showing you again how a dominant pass rush can help coverage, and a great coverage can help that pass rush. The last play that we're going to look at is actually the last play of the game, and this is going to be the last interception for Rodgers here. What we're going to get, again, is a fly front, okay? This is something, if you look at really any team that has a dominant 4-man pass rush, this is what you're going to get. Even if you have the two of these guys standing up, let's say you're a 3-4 team. The Broncos are a great example with Chubb and Miller, that they'll put the 2 interior guys wide, and then let those outside linebackers of Miller and Chubb really just kind of rush the passer. And really, this is structurally what the 49ers are trying to do. They know the Packers at this point in the game, and really just at the beginning of the game, they felt like they could dominate the run, and so they lived in this fly front. You're going to get 6 cross again, so he's going to cut the cross. We're going to get our third, okay? He's going to go to the flat. He's got the low hook. He's got the flat over here. So we're getting 6 cross again. And the play that we're going to get out of this is just an air raid 101, West Coast 101. We're going to get the post over here. We're going to get Y cross right here. And then we're going to get the dig curl right here. And that's air raid 101. We'll get the chip and release, and we'll get a chip and release. So that's why we got our 5-man protection with our 2 chip blockers. We've got Y cross or Y, and to me, this is perfectly designed for that. He's there to pick it up. He goes vertical. Now I've got 2 guys on the post. I'm cutting the cross. I can sit him high to be underneath of that. And then what you can do here is underneath and over top of this. So this coverage right here really kills the Y cross play. And so as you can see, here we have the Y cross. We're going to get that dig curl right here. He keeps going because he's trying to find space. You've got the cross by the number 2 right here. And then you've got the post on the outside. Now, the receiver on the outside doesn't even think he's getting the ball. And so you get the chip on the bottom, and so you can see the 2 flat guys pushing right here. I really like the technique on the backside. He's staying high because there's nothing bringing him down. He sees him going up and vertical, so if he's staying high again, and he's just going to start working into the high hole. He's in the low hole. You, again, have him outside for the flat. He will eventually hold this and then let the ball bring him down on the flat guy out here. You're overlapping here, and then, again, you've got 2 guys on the deep route, which is why I like this coverage and this 6 rotation versus these air raid and West Coast offenses, because you get so much of those crossing routes. There's really nowhere for him to go. The safety works high because look at his shoulders. They're up and vertical, meaning he's launching the ball. If they were flat like this, then you would be thinking intermediate, and he probably would squat, and he would be underneath. He would be over top, and then you would just see him take the post route on his own. But he launches it. Sherman's there to run underneath of it, and essentially the game is over at that point. And the 49ers end up winning, and as we know, go to the Super Bowl. So going back to the beginning, you have your fly front. You've got your 6 rotation to kill that crossing route by the number 2 receiver. And you've got the double on the post, which is what you want. You don't want that. You kind of want to poach that, and you want to double that, especially late in the game when they're trying to look for a big play. And that's exactly what the 49ers do, and they end up winning the game. So thanks again for being part of MQ Chess Match and stopping by. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can always follow me on Twitter at @the_coach_A. Make sure you check out MatchQuarters.com. Make sure you subscribe to the MatchQuarters.substack.com for the latest in defensive content. Thank you again.